Hi, I hope you're well. Today I want to share my advice. Blah, blah, blah. Oh my god, why so early in the video? I just want to share my advice on how to make time for self care. And by self care, I just mean any activity that you would love to do, but you feel like you don't have the time to do. Could be reading a book, meditating, journaling, being creative, reading your favorite blogs, watching motivational YouTube videos, your skincare routine, painting your nails, whatever you do or you want to do to make yourself feel looked after and feel like you've got your shit together. This is a video to help you make time for that. So that is something you are interested in. Make sure you keep watching. I think the first thing I really want to say is that it's so important if you're feeling too busy to really figure out what you're currently spending your time on. I think that a lot of people that tell me, like a lot of my readers that tell me they feel too busy, I always find it quite ironic that they're telling me they're too busy to do something important, even though they have the time to read my blog and to send me a very long email. I love getting long emails, do not get me wrong about that, but I just think it's interesting that they feel like they have no time, and yet they have made time to send me that email, and they have a lot more control of their time than they're giving themselves credit for. So if you're struggling to make the time, just have a look at how much time you're spending on social media. Not saying that you necessarily need to cut it, but if you are spending a lot of time on social media just scrolling and you don't have time to do the things that are really important to you, then that is something that you can cut back on. And I know that's easier said than done, and a lot of us are super addicted to our mobile phones. I've done a few videos, one of them, how to ignore digital distractions. I talk a lot more about this and how those digital distractions can actually be procrastination. One thing I want to mention here, I'm not sure if you might have heard this idea before, but you probably haven't, is that you could be procrastinating on self-care. And I know that doesn't sound like, do you know what I mean? It doesn't, like, why would you procrastinate doing something that would make you feel good? But sometimes we fill up our time with unimportant things like social media, so we don't have time for the things we want to do, like something that I listed before, like a self-care kind of thing, like reading, journaling, all of that kind of thing. It's because we are scared that we will do those things. If you have a perfectionist mindset like me, we are scared that we will do those things and we still won't feel like we'll have our shit together, and life won't be as good as we hope it will be, but then we'll have nothing else that we could try in order to get our lives together. So we like to keep that thing that could make our life better out of reach, so that we could always say to ourselves, yeah, well, I don't absolutely love my life at the moment, but if I could just do this one thing, then I would. And even though we could do that one thing, we don't, because we're scared it won't get us the result we want. And we do this all the time with so many different things. Like if you cram for exams, it's that fear of saying, oh, I tried my hardest and I still didn't get the result I want. Like, what are you supposed to do if you've tried your hardest and you still didn't get the result? So instead, we don't try our hardest, we cram, and then we don't get the result because we didn't try our hardest. But then we can say to ourselves, oh, well, the reason I didn't get that result is because I didn't try my hardest. And we can live in that like fairy tale land of, if we had tried harder, then we would get the result, rather than trying and actually seeing, because we're scared we won't. So I hope that made sense. But if you are procrastinating and filling up your time with really unimportant things, but telling me or telling yourself that you don't have time to do the things that matter, it could be that you are scared of doing them because you're scared your life won't be as amazing as you think when you are doing them. Just think about that for a second. So that is one thing to pay attention to as well. But my advice really is to have a look at how you are spending your time currently, the things that drain you and the things that feel like time wasters. You know them. I did a video on my productivity tips, and I talked a lot about how to structure your day differently so that you don't spend much time on the draining tasks, and you don't spend lots of time switching up between tasks and that kind of thing. But if you just find one thing you do each day, because you don't need much time for self-care, like basically anything that you could do, I feel like it could be done in half an hour. And that half an hour has the potential to make you feel so much better about your life. I'm actually such a nerd. This is what I did the other day. I keep all my, I keep like my gym card and my coffee card and my Go card for public transport in there. But I also keep little notes that I write. Just when I have ideas, it's just like an easy place to keep them. I wrote a list called Improve My Life. I am such a nerd. I crack myself up sometimes, but I do this stuff all the time. And I just wrote out little ways that I could improve my life that I'm not currently doing. And some of them are things like no procrastination on tasks such as car service, paying bills, cleaning, making appointments. Those kinds of things, if I'm not careful, I have a habit of putting them off. Meditation every morning, which I basically am doing. I'm doing it probably every weekday morning, not always on the weekends. Replying to texts quickly, text messages, helping Steve more and doing more nice things for Steve. He's so nice to me. I just feel like I could be doing better. Not that I'm horrible, but I'm like, I need to step up. Taking the time to apply what I learned from self-help books, which I am doing as well, and I did a video on that, but I would like a set time at least once a week where I really apply what I've learned. So that was my note. I also have a list of makeup products that I am interested in buying. Just need to do a little more research. So all of those kinds of things, it takes less than half an hour to do most of the things I had written down. So you don't need to completely overhaul everything, but if you can find something that's a time suck, remove it and replace it with a simple task. It just has to be just one thing is enough, and you can really, really, really improve your life. And then once you get that momentum going, because if you're doing one thing to take care of yourself, you'll start feeling better about yourself, and then you'll want to do more, and you'll want more and more and more of that feeling. So you'll spend less time on social media and doing all those unimportant things that you might currently be filling your time with. So that really is my main advice for how to make time for self-care. And yeah, perfectionists can really fall into that too busy trap. But if we look at it, we often are just filling our time with really unimportant things so that we don't have time for the things that matter, because we're scared that when we do make time for the things that matter, we won't get the results we want. And perfectionists are always scared of not getting the results they want and effort not being worth it. So instead we procrastinate and we keep that thing at arm's length or arm's reach? Anyway, over here. So that we don't actually have to see whether or not our life could be better. I don't know if that makes sense, and you might have to listen to this again to maybe get your head around that idea if you haven't heard it before. That I know there are so many videos about self-care tips, and none of them address that the reason you might not currently be able, or you might be struggling to make time for them, is because of this whole procrastination fear thing. And you probably have already watched videos, if you're watching this, on similar topics, and yet if you're still not making time, then I'd suggest that it could be this whole procrastination because you're scared you won't get the results you want. It's the same as if you're like, oh, my life would be so much better if I went to the gym every day, but you don't go to the gym. My life would be so much better if I ate healthy, but you don't eat healthy. Some of it can be this fear that we'll do it and we still won't be good enough, and then we'll be frustrated and struggling, and we will have no idea what to do because we've tried everything we can think of. But if we don't try everything, then we've always got, something we can let ourselves live in, that fairy tale land where if we tried harder, we'd do better. And yeah, I just find it so fascinating, and I didn't always know and realize that I thought that way, and I'm currently working on changing it. And that's what I love sharing on my blog and in these videos, how I am going from the perfectionist fixed mindset to a growth mindset where I'm not attached to results. I'm not scared to make mistakes. I'm not scared to look like an idiot. And yeah, I just don't have all that fear around everything that I do. So I hope you find these videos helpful. If you do, please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I share videos like this every single day. And make sure you check out my blog as well, smart-20s.com. And I will see you in the next video. Bye!